Hello everyone. So yesterday I spoke about the social policy of a government, and today now we need to go further. So today we talk about the public administration, the social policies which are formulated by the government. They have to be put into practice. And to begin with, who are the people involved with? If you look at the actual policy implementation, you will see right from the minister to the lowest cadre of administration. That is why we call it as bureaucracy. So in short, once the policy is being made or the policies are being made, they have to be put in practice, and we talk about it as the public administration now. And when we come to the public administration, there is always, if you look at from the Western point of view, can simply public administration take place, or they need to be followed certain procedures, certain pattern? That is why the social scientists talk about, and very often they debate on, is public administration an art or a science? Let us think about it. If you look at from the public administration as an art, I'll talk about certain characteristics of an art, and of course it's your task related with the public administration. If I talk about unity, when you make a picture, of course you have your drawings in that, you have paintings in that. What do you look at the kind of unity in that? Because at the kind of satisfaction you have, the same satisfaction has to be with the people who are looking at your art. So many of them look for a unity. Now that means unity is one characteristics of an art. What next? Balance. Can you simply throw the colors on a paper and you will call it as an art? No, I'm sure no. You will have your sort of colors, different colors, and putting it into a kind of a particular pattern. Then that's how it is made into a picture what people can enjoy. So there has to be a kind of a balance, whether you talk about a picture, whether you talk about making a statue or any art form. What's the third character we are talking about? I'll say it's movement. If you are painting a river, and it has to give a picture or pictorial aspect that it's flowing. Unless you show that it's flowing, you cannot say that you have made a painting of a river. So it's movement. And as I said earlier, all these characteristics you have to compare with the administration. I'm just talking about the characteristics of art. Coming to rhythm. When you listen to your music, what do you look at a rhythm in that? Up and down, the flow in that. Then the musical rhythm which you talk about. Do you find a rhythm in administration? Yes, it's a homework given to you. You were thought about. How can a rhythm come into public administration? And now the next characteristic I'm talking about is the focus. Whatever you do in art, whether it's a painting or, as I said, whether it's making a statue, whether it's sculpture, whatever you do, you have a focus in that. Will we have focus in administration? Well, it's a question of making a road, whether it's a question of eradication of poverty, whether it's a question of bringing 100% literacy in the population of the state or of the country, what do you have for focus? And focus is also on different steps too. So that's why focus is one characteristic, as I said about the characteristics of art. Coming to the next one, that is pattern. Will you have a pattern when you make a picture? Will you have a pattern when you create a music? I'm sure it will be there. How it will relate to public administration, you can give a thought about it. Proportion, the next characteristics. Yeah, proportion. We have a certain proportion. All your paintings, all your sculptures, all your art forms will have a proportion. I'm sure it will be there. It cannot be, because there is a lot of mathematics in any art. That's what I believe. So there will be a proportion. How do you relate it with public administration when it comes to the question of proportion? Can you think of rationing the poor population of the people without looking into the proportion? Of course you have. Can't you think of distributing money or plan your budget without looking at the proportion of the population? I'm sure it's not possible. You have to do that. So if you look at all these aspects of characteristics of an art, you will find that yes, these are the basic characteristics you will find in an art. There may be many. I'm not giving a conclusion to that. You can work out more characteristics. I cannot be a conclusive person in that matter. What I'm more focusing more is how do you relate it with these characteristics with the public administration. And of course there are people who are arguing that public administration is science. Is it so? Yes, let us look at the one. The first part which I say is objectivity. What do we mean by objectivity? That is, accept the facts. If you have to accept something, you have to accept the facts. You cannot simply believe on whatever people say. You cannot believe on without seeing the data. That means the objectivity is there. Will you take objectivity as characteristics of public administration? Can you rely on any aspect, any matter, any information without looking into the fact? I'm sure it's not. Still, you can work out your own examples in this matter. Number two, verifiability. How do you verify? How do you verify many things? Even today's context, when an epidemic is being spread out in the whole country, the whole world, won't you verify without giving the information to the people? I'm sure. You will go to the data and will give the data to the people only after verification. Talk about the climate. When you talk about whether rain will be there, clouds will be there, and the extent of rainy season will be there, can you do it without verifying the data? I'm sure it cannot be. The other characteristic of the scientific characteristics, that is the ethical neutrality. Will you, a scientist, give a fact or give a data by looking at the religion of the person or religion of the people? No. A scientist has to be ethical. Whatever outcomes he is giving, that has to be without giving you any kind of religious bias. So that's why many a times certain things we are able to believe, or certain times we question, and we are questioning not because there is no data in that. Many a times we are questioning because of our superstitions, our biases. So it cannot happen in science. And coming to the next point, that is systematic exploration. Can somebody, all these facts which are coming into science, where it is talking about the various aspects of Earth, where it talks about the planets, where it talks about the structure of the soil, don't we think that these are all information? I'll go one step beyond. Instead of information, the knowledge. The so-called knowledge comes out only after systematic exploration. Won't you do this character or use this character in public administration? We do that. That's how you have seen that. The economy of the country, the resources of the country, the way the resources are being utilized. That's why we find differences between countries. The continuous exploration, the systematic use of it. Now, the other character, reliability. Can we rely on certain information? Can we rely on certain data? And you know that science believes and science uses this character, reliability, as one basic strong character, so that the information and the information further into the knowledge can be passed into. The other character, that is precision. We know that all scientists will be very precise. They cannot give a kind of what do we call the so-called it can be, it may be, it will be. It will be the precision. And precision on the basis of data. And that is why we always say that scientific knowledge is precise. It's not vague. It cannot be vague. And how does it matter to public administration? Public administration, when we talk about, unless it is precise, people stop believing them. They may say that they may come to the conclusion that the public administration people may say something, but what really happens is something else. So there will be the precision in public administration. And that's why same pattern we can say that scientific knowledge is accurate. Yes, scientific knowledge is accurate. Now predictability. How do we mean predictability? Can we predict something? But can we predict without having a proper data or a sequence and without the basic research is done? If we can predict something only if we have done sufficient amount of research, because research is not just reading, research is verifying. All is verification done with several kind of researchers. The scientists are able to predict. So if you look at all these factors of the characteristics of science, all the characteristics of art, you are the one to decide, yes, this particular characteristic of administration, or all these characteristics are there in public administration. Though now we are moving into the next topic. If it is so, what are the challenges of public administration? What are the challenges of public administration? I will say that the attitudinal change. What is the attitude of the people? That makes a difference. If you find the attitude of a developing country or a developed country, or the other ways, if I put in the other way, the educated people of a country or uneducated people of a country, you will find attitudinal change. One example I can say that. The Swachhata Abhiyan, which is being promulgated right from Gandhiji till today, the Prime Minister of Narendra Modi, you will find that the attitude of the people are different. And this attitude makes a difference, not in a simple matter like Swachhata. It will talk about economy, it will talk about the election, the voting, etc., etc. these matters over there. That's why in many states you will find hardly 50% of voting takes place. In some states, especially which are quite educated, you will find 90% of the voting is taking place over there. And the people who are not voting, they are not understanding that they are doing a big mistake by giving the choice of the right person to come into the legislative assembly or parliament. And so attitude matters over there. And coming to the next challenge, big challenge of the Indian society is balancing the aspiration. So we have two ends over there. One is the educated youths who have a very large dream or a wonderful dream. At the same time, the downtrodden people who are still in poverty. The question is how do we balance it? The educated youth have a very high dream because they are looking at the developed countries, the kind of way, the opportunities, the kind of growth which are happening in developed countries, and the other extreme, the poor people who are struggling to have for one time food for them. How do we balance? How do a country balance? How the public administration or the government balance these two? And number three, that is using technology to advantage. Yes, that's true. Using technology to advantage. We are still kind of in a teething stage of using our technology to the benefit of the society. One after the other, one after the other. Many times we can say that we are actually, this is my opinion, we are trying to copy from the Western world and trying to implement it over here. That is one reason we know that a good number of educated people from India, they go abroad. They do the research over there, they do the further studies over there, and they get employed over there without coming back to our own country. So that talks about the technology to our advantage. It's a challenge. It's a big challenge. Because if technology can happen over here, whether we talk about atomic energy, the use of atomic energy, the use of what do we call the light energy, the water energy, I think India can prosper. But still we have very slow attitude towards the desire towards that. That makes a difference. Coming to the next one, that is the competing with the private sector. Why we are competing with the private sector? There are a few examples we have seen that the airlines have gone to the private sector. The communication has gone to the private sector. Now today, some extent of the railway is going to the private sector. Some of the public industries are going to the private sector. What is the reason for that? Because there is a feeling, and many a times it's a fact, a private sector company can do a better job compared to the public sector. That's why gradually we are moving to the private sector. Of course, it impacts is a different matter. The consequence is a different matter, but that's the truth. That is competing with private sector. If we are continuing with Air India or continuing with the Jet Airlines, will both make the same kind of profit? It's a questionable matter. Now, the last aspect, of course, you can find out so many reasons. That's what, as I said earlier, that I'm not conclusive in giving my examples. Relation with other countries, that's a fact, yeah. Because international relation is one major the factor when we talk about the challenges of a country. Because when it comes to the import and export, the developed countries expect us to have more import, and they may have a restriction of exporting our products to their countries. And we only have to think which is a benefit for us. And many a times, beyond the factor of benefit, we have to look into, yeah, that's a demand from the developed countries. So some extent we have to compromise. And when it's question of compromising, sometimes that may affect our economy. Thank you, and I hope I will have comments from you, and it's useful. It's a kind of useful dialogue with you. I'll get back to you again. Thank you very much.